Okay, we're going to find the lateral and the total surface area of this cylinder. So this cylinder has a radius of 8 yards and a height of 10 yards. So I'm just going to dump some knowledge that I know about this. So the radius is 8, the height is 10. It's a circle, and I know that my formula for lateral surface area is perimeter of the base times the height. But because it is a cylinder, circles don't have a perimeter. Circles have something else that takes the place of the perimeter called the circumference. So the circumference is the distance around the circle, or the perimeter of a circle. In order to solve for circumference, I'm going to use the formula either pi times the diameter, or circumference is 2 times pi times the radius. The reason why is because 2 radiuses is the same as a diameter. Whenever I do the formula, I'm going to utilize pi as 3.14. You can use pi in your calculator and get a little bit closer of an answer. I'm just going to use the estimated version of it. Okay, so instead of using C, I have to substitute the formula that has a radius because that's what it gives me in my cylinder. So I'm going to use this one. So it's going to be 2 times 3.14, because that's pi, times 8, because that's the radius. So I'm going to substitute this formula in for the perimeter of the base. So it's going to say 2 times pi times the radius, that's perimeter of the base or circumference, times the height. So I'm going to use this formula right here. So this one and this one are no longer going to be used. They're all three the same thing, but I want this guy here. So the lateral surface area is 2 times 3.14 times 8 times 10. Now, your commutative property says that you can turn these things around, flip them around, put them in different orders to make your life easier, and you're still going to get the same answer. So I'm going to multiply all of my whole numbers first, and then I'm going to save that decimal for very last, because decimals are the demons of math, and nobody really likes to deal with them. So the lateral surface is 2 times 8 times 10 times 3.14. So I still have the same 4 numbers, just in a different order. So my lateral surface area is 2 times 8, which is 16, times 10, times 3.14. Then I'm going to do 16 times 10, which, you know, if you multiply anything times something with a 0 on it, you just put the 0 at the end. So 16 times 1 is 16 with a 0 at the end. So that's 160 times 3.14. So now this is where the decimals get to come in and play. So if I ignore the decimal, 314 is larger than 116 or 160, so I'm going to put it on top. So 3.14 times 160. So this number has 2 decimal places, which means that it goes out twice, but it has to go back in twice in the answer. So it's going to go left twice once I get the answer. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. I am done with 0. So because I'm done with 0, I'm going to drop a 0. Now, here's the trick. You're going to drop 1 0 for each of the remaining numbers that you have to multiply by. So I have a 6 and I have a 1. So that is 2 digits. So I'm going to drop 2 zeros. 1 for the 6 and 1 for the 1. 6 times 4 is 24. So I put the 4 here. Carry a 2. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. I am now done with the 6 and I'm moving over. So in this column, in order to move over, I'm going to have to drop another 0 right here to make me be done with this column. So I'm done with this one and I'm done with this one. So we do 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. So now I add them together. I have 0, 4, 8 plus 4 is 12, carry a 1. That's 8, 9, 10, 0, carry a 1, 3, 4, 5. And remember, I have to have 2 decimal places in my answer. So I start here and I go 1, 2. So my lateral surface area is 502.4. I don't need the 0 on the end. Yards squared. So that's lateral. That's just the edges. So think about a can of tuna or maybe a can of vegetables. That's going to be where the label is at, around the outside of it. That's your laterals. Now I'm going to find my total surface area. So total surface area is 2 times pi times the radius times the height, plus 2 times pi times the radius squared. So this one right here, that's your outside edge. You already solved for that. You did that over here. So we don't have to resolve for this. We're just going to plug in what we just got, which is 502.4. So this right here is the same stuff we just did. So 502.4 plus 2 pi r squared. So pi r squared, this right here, is your formula for area of a circle. And it's going to be multiplied by 2 because you have 2 circles. You have a base here and you have a base here. So think about a can of tuna. If I hold it like this, my thumb would be on a base and my pointer would also be on a base. There are 2 of those. They're the exact same size. So pi is 3.14. My radius is 8 and my radius is 8 because radius squared means radius times radius. Total surface area is 502.4 plus. I'm going to do some rearranging because I want to save that decimal for last. So I'm going to do 2 times 8 times 8 times 3.14. Okay, 8 times 8 is 64, and 64 times 2 is 128. Did you see again, I did another commutative property flip because I know those two, and then I can double that number easier than saying 16 times 8 is 128. So now I'm going to take these two numbers and I'm going to multiply them together. So I have 3.14 on top times 128 on bottom. 2 decimal places in the 3.14, which means that your answer has to have 2 decimal places. 8 times 4 is 32, so I put a 2, carry a 3. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11, carry a 1. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. I am done with the 8, and I still have 2 digits to multiply by, which means I need 2 zeros below the 8. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. I was dealing with the second number, so all of my answers went in the second row. I am now done with the 2, so I need to finish out that row because I still have 1 number left. So I need to drop 1 0 here so that now I'm in this third row, and then all of my answers are going to go right here in this same little section. So 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. And I put a couple of placeholders up there. So this is 2, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Carry a 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 0, carry a 1, and a 4. And I have to have 2 decimal places. So I start here and I go 1, 2. So that is 401.92. So my total surface area is the lateral surface area of 502.4 plus the area of both bases combined. Remember, when you add decimals, you have to line them up. So I'm going to put the 502.4. Now you notice that this number doesn't have a digit right here. Just put a 0 there. You have to line them up. If you don't line them up, your answer is going to be wrong. So you have 2, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I put a 3, carry a 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, and 9. So now this decimal just drops straight down, and our answer is 904.32. So the total surface area of that cylinder is 904 32 yards squared. And if it wanted you to round to the tenths place, you would look at the 2. The 2 isn't big enough, so it would just fall off, and your answer would be 904.3 yards squared.